Welcome to the Box Truck Hustle podcast, where we highlight real stories and real strategies for people moving freight every day. I'm your host, Telly Arnold, the owner of TLA Group and the creator of Straight Connect, and my co host, Sharif, my business partner, who will introduce himself.
How are you guys? I'm Sharif Brooks. I have like 25 years experience, CDL driver and dry van. I've done reefer, I've done flatbed, and now 3 years in the box truck business.
And we have a guest today, Adrian out of Cincinnati, who is a dispatcher with Muscle Logistics, correct?
Logistics,
Ah, see,
yes.
I'm getting there. I'm good. I'm getting better. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'll be super fast. So my name is Adrian. I run and own Muscle Logistics Solutions. So we are a dispatch company and we contract out and work with different carriers to lease on, newer authorities. So I originally started out driving the box truck myself. My ex-husband, he started a company, and from there I learned to dispatch, to drive, to run it, and then we just started growing. And then after we separated, that's when I started the dispatch company.
Mm,
Gotcha.
mm.
Okay. So that goes right into the first question I had. How did you get started? You started driving a box truck, correct?
Yeah.
And how did you like that?
Yes.
I still don't know how to drive it.
Wow. I would say, all right, I'm gonna be honest, I failed. I must have been negative about 20. Yeah, I was negative like 20,000. I didn't even make anything. I
Mm,
made nothing. And that's the price you pay when you don't do your research, right?
right.
When you
Right.
don't do, no one's gonna tell you, no one's gonna figure it out for you. And I lost about a good 20,000
Yeah,
in
we know
about
that story.
3
Yeah,
months.
Yeah.
yeah.
We did that in like a month.
What's
Yeah.
worse? What's worse when you can each bite you can feel, 5,000, three. You're like,
Total.
oh, it's like a good punch every time.
Yeah, you don't know how quick that 20,000 goes so fast.
It
Like I was
does.
like, it's already gone? Did you start
Yes.
with a rental truck or did you buy your truck cash? Like how did you start out with your truck?
Yeah, that too. Like we were renting at the time from Enterprise.
Mm,
So yeah, that was already an arm and a leg, right? That your truck payment and your insurance right off the bat, arm and a leg. Um, so that was heavy. That was already heavy. And then I just kept having incident after incident. Like I had to get a tow, I would get flat tires, and this is all just due to negligence. Just thinking that everything is fine and dandy, not doing inspections, right? Not doing the inspection on the truck in the morning and just being careless.
Yeah, we started out renting from Penske.
Mm,
And, like everybody was like, you can start out renting a truck. If you have a breakdown, you don't have to worry about maintenance. But what they don't tell you is that it's $900. Ours was $900 plus the extra 900 that they take a hold. So I'm pretty much
yeah.
looking at the credit card trying to balance it, right? And
Mm,
it's no balance in it. And I put 1,000. I'm like, dang, it's still, it's like 2,000 a week at that point.
mm.
And the part that we got caught up in is we were told as soon as our MC became active, we'll be able to book loads like immediately. But that's they failed to tell us that brokers don't like working with new
Yes.
authorities.
Yes.
mm.
And I want to actually go into that because that seems to be the trend because that goes back to not doing your research, right? So all these guys are going out, they're getting their MC, they're getting insurance, they're buying the truck, renting the truck, and they're like, man, I can't get not one load. So when that happens, there's always an option, but I really think if people went out and started making those connections and just trying to work with people directly, that'll help them for the first few months because it's like, how are you supposed to pay your bills? You're just not supposed to pay any bills the first 6 months
Mhm.
because you're a new authority.
Exactly. And that's where we ran under somebody else's authority. Like we finally was like, okay, we're going to have to run under somebody else's authority.
Hmm.
Um and that was really the only way we survived. Now, in my opinion, if you mentor someone, You set up a meeting with them. If you know how this is going, offer it. I mean, you built a relationship with somebody, in my opinion. Why don't you offer them to run under your authority, in my opinion? But where I'm
Mhm.
catching a lot of problems with people running under our authority is they pay that big deposit on their insurance when they have
Mhm.
to pay a deposit to be on my policy
Right.
because that's the compliant way to do it. And so
Mhm.
that's where I lose people. I'm like, well, you can't run under my authority. You can't have two policies. You have to be on my
Yeah,
policy.
and that's the issue that comes in of the insurance.
Correct, correct. So you
Yeah.
allow people to lease onto your authority? Is that right?
Yeah, so my same I have a similar concept. Like I have a partner and we use his authority for carriers that are approved and vetted to work with us. So they fall
Mhm.
under that one, yeah.
Is do you allow people from any state to do that? Like with the
It could be
insurance?
it can be through any state, but they would have to actually pass, you know what I'm saying? Like they would have to pass the interview and be qualified. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. Like to even onboard someone, it takes us like 2 weeks to even like go through and verify everything. So
Mhm.
it just varies.
Gotcha. So this is good to know because I have people contact me all the time looking for a company they can lease under, and I'll be like, I don't know nobody, but now I have your name.
Yeah, if they're approved.
If they're approved, all I can say is, hey, you could contact them. You have to go through their vetting process. I make no
Yes.
guarantees. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, as far as do you have any stories about people leasing onto your authority? Any hard lessons from that?
I'm gonna be honest, so far so good. Like everything has gone well. I would say it's really just people follow your lead. So, I mean, the way you're training them and coaching them, that's how they're going to perform. So, if you're the type of person that you don't communicate, you're probably not going to get anything back. But these guys, like, they don't know everything, right? They have an idea, right? They've driven before, they've picked up loads, but when we start talking about the business side of things,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you start to lose people. Like, hey, I need your paperwork. Can you please submit the paperwork? And then they're sending you documents with no signatures, blurry paperwork. So you can't process it, you can't get it approved. So it's like I said, it just goes back to coaching them. But my guys, for the most part, I send them what I need, I tell them what I need, and they perform. So,
Gotcha.
so far, so good.
So far, so good. How many
Yeah.
trucks do you have right now? Are you
Yes.
dispatching them too, and they're leasing on? Are you dispatching them?
Yeah. Yeah. So I
Gotcha.
kind of have like a mixture. Like we have an actual fleet based out of Dallas. So those trucks that we have, they run dedicated. So they're on a contract. They just go in there, they do their thing every day. And then I also have people I dispatch that have an authority at that 6 month mark. And I book them loads under their MC. And then the people that I lease on, that haul under us, those are the
Mm-hmm.
OTR drivers. So we find them their loads, and whenever they want to go home, we find them a load to go home.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
How often do they stay out? Your box truck guys.
I would say about every 2 weeks, the OTR guys, every two
They want
weeks.
they want to come home.
Yeah.
Lord.
Once I hit that 1 in a week and a half mark, I'm already mentally preparing to get that text like, hey, let's start routing me route me back to Texas, route me back to Philly. I want to go home.
Ooh, Philly.
Gotcha.
Nah, I,
Gotcha. So your dedicated run, how did you get that with the different
Yeah.
trucks? Like that's something I was like, why can't how do you do that?
Yeah, so my partner, like he's had a few connections. And I think this goes back to every industry, right? It's about who you know. So yeah, that company that he's been working with, he's been with them for years.
Gotcha.
So he had a meeting last week with a furniture outlet for something dedicated, and we actually turned it down. So what we're seeing is the rates are not changing despite the market shift in the diesel, and we're still being offered these rates that don't bring any profit. So
Right.
it's like you can't run it. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, it just goes back to, who you know and making those connections in person.
Yeah.
And Texas, I mean, you guys are there. Texas overall is a great location. Lots of freight there.
I think more freight is out of Dallas versus Houston.
Yes.
Yeah,
What do you know why that is? I noticed that.
I think it's
Probably
because
because we're oil
Dallas.
and gas heavy. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
because
we
it's
can now, but you kind of lagging.
okay. Okay, I'm sorry. No, it's because Dallas has so many cities. It's so many small cities in Fort Worth, Duncanville, everywhere, North Dallas, everything. So it's like companies. So, everybody has their own thing going. So it's just so much friends. I lived in Dallas for the longest. So as far as that, that's the place to be. As far as trucking,
Hmm.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard for us to get out of Houston. We'll deadhead up
Yeah.
to Dallas, or we'll do an Amazon to get us so we're not just deadheading and get up to Dallas. That way, that's what we try to do because sometimes it's just really hard to get out of Houston.
It is, and I'm very surprised, but it's been difficult.
Yes, Houston, we do. Houston is like a hit or miss.
anything
Yeah.
close by the water,
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm.
yeah.
like
You say
except
anything close by the water is a hit or
like
miss?
like like Miami, you can't. It's hard to get something out of there.
Yes.
Houston,
Awful.
it's hard.
Awful.
A lot of trucking companies, I couldn't get hired at a lot of trucking companies because they couldn't get me home. It wasn't no freight to get me home, because I was in Houston.
Mm,
So Dallas was the best
Mm.
place to be for as trucking.
Yeah.
yeah. We find it easier even when we coming home. We'll find routes going to Dallas, Fort Worth. Every once in a while, we'll see one for Houston.
Grand Prairie, all that area.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it is true about the network. And I go to the Greater Houston Trucking Association. They have Trucking Tuesdays, the last Tuesday of every month. So I try to go in person and meet people, shake hands, and try to make some connections that way. But the dedicated is not happening with one truck.
No.
So
No.
no. Yeah.
Because she's shaking
Yeah.
her
And
head.
that was something somebody just recently asked me, like, why come you can't team up with another truck? And I'm like, maybe if I had like a dispatcher dispatching all of us and we say we dedicated together, I don't know if a shipper would go for that. I
Right.
mean, probably you have that relationship with them that maybe they would, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never tried it that way.
No. So it's your own
No.
trucks on the dedicated?
Yeah, so that's like his own fleet. So he has his own fleet.
Ah,
Yeah. And it's been like that for years. Like he's had that contract, same drivers. They do the same thing every single day. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay. Now it makes sense. 'Cause I was like, "Ooh, you got a dedicated with different." He got his own fleet.
No.
Gotcha. And how has it? And you said the same drivers?
Yeah, so it's the same drivers. Same drivers for years.
Wow,
Hmm. They
that
live
was
in
our biggest
Dallas.
struggle. Probably
The
because
drivers.
they live in Dallas.
It's more freight.
Gotcha.
And like I
Mm.
said, that
So
can you hear me, Mom?
we can
More
hear you
freight.
fine, Sharif.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I'm sorry. No, it's we want to do. I was telling her about FedEx, like a contract with FedEx or UPS or the post office, picking up packages. Now that's what I want locally. If I can get that, I'll cry.
Yeah. That's
I've been trying.
we ran that. Have you guys ever heard of Nolan Transportation?
Yeah. They wouldn't work with us because we got one truck.
That's the broker I got the contract with FedEx and Walmart. So when I was with my ex, that was two of the contracts we had, and it came from Nolan. So they're out there, they just honestly they just do it based on a bid, and then whichever bid they see and they like, that's the one that who really gets the offer. But that FedEx one, we did it for the peak season. So we did it from Thanksgiving going into New Year's, and it was nonstop. That was like 6 days a week in the FedEx
Mm.
facility.
Yeah, I actually get I figured out how to get the emails for the contracts to bid with the post office. The
Mm,
problem is not box truck. I haven't seen a box truck yet. I keep getting the delivery service. Like you're going in like probably like a sprinter van to each mail location. I
yeah.
haven't got like the box truck bidding yet. And then for UPS, you got to get a name of somebody. Like I was
Mhm.
able to figure out how to get signed up, but then they emailed me back and said I got to get a name so they could tell them what to do for me to sign into. So I haven't been able to find a name of anybody yet. So
Okay.
that's where I'm kind of stuck.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm
So
not sure with that one.
I think that's a way to keep people out and keep certain people in. Like, and when I mean certain people, inside people. My brother works there, and he got a box truck, something like that. But I went to the
yeah,
facility. It's like a prison. You can't walk in there and just start asking questions. You can't get in.
Right.
and they don't give you no advice. And I asked them like, where can I go? What can I? It's like you just have to go to the nearest facility. I'm like, okay. And I knew a couple of people who work there, but I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah. So
I know
what
what to
would you
work.
give like somebody who has a new authority if they were to come to you for dispatching? What kind of advice would you give them, knowing that what you
Yeah.
know about new authorities and whatnot?
So if they came for me strictly for dispatch services, I would say try to hold on till they hit 90 days. Because I know when you hit 90 days, there are a few brokers like TQL. That's a pretty popular brokerage, Total Quality Logistics, that works with new carriers.
Yeah.
If they're trying to avoid, paying all this extra to lease on, I would say try to push to 90 days. Once you hit 90 days, look for the brokers that work with newer carriers. And if you can, try to create, right, a map based on like routing where you know that broker is going to have loads. So that means probably avoiding the Midwest, California, because it gets a little tricky to find loads out there, and staying and creating some type of pattern, some type of map where if you get a load from Texas to New York, you could find something with the same broker, for example, Total Quality, that has loads coming out of there. So 90 days is usually, there's some opportunities,
Yeah.
but it's definitely not the same as if you were active for 6 months or a year. But it's
Right.
something.
Right. Do you have connections like if somebody come to you for dispatch, do you have any brokers that be like, yeah, I know, okay, I'll work with them. They're not their MC is pretty new, or you it's just you don't have those type of connections to help
So
them out.
So I've only have connections with Total Qual, and that's why I mentioned it because I used to work for TQL on the
Okay.
on the brokerage and the sales side. That's why I came to Cincinnati. So I do have a couple people in there, but it's not to the extent where like I can ask. You know what I'm saying? Like I can
Yeah.
ask for certain things, but I can only push it so far. Because I mean, they still have to report to someone. So just surface level, I can kind of at least get some type of direction, some feedback, but nothing really past that.
Right. Right.
They love us.
And as a new go you got some, Sharif?
Say they love us.
And as someone who is a new owner operator, would you say, because I feel like a dispatcher, of course, has their place. I do not take away from dispatchers at all because we dispatch in our own trucks. But would you honestly say somebody who has a new authority, would you give them the advice like maybe you should dispatch yourself, learn the business, or like what would you? I mean, of course, that's money out your pocket,
Mhm.
but how would you
Yeah.
come to them with that?
So it depends because back to your point, you absolutely can dispatch yourself. Would I recommend doing it while driving? Probably not. So now that comes down to the owner. If the owner isn't the driver, he can dispatch his own trucks if he took a day or two to learn how to do it. But that just comes down to making the decision like, hey, I'm going to sit down and learn how to do this. and I'm going to get really good at it and stick to it. Um, Now, there's a couple things that go into it. Because, like I said, if he's driving, I wouldn't recommend it just for safety purposes. Because I'm not going to sit here and tell you be on your phone while you're driving. But I know a lot of people that do that as well. Because at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do.
Hmm.
Um, but dispatching from like a full point of view, because I think people think in their head you just chill and you go on your phone and you make a phone call, but
Right.
it actually takes a lot of planning, looking at the map, the times, the locations. A lot of box trucks like to run partials, so that's when the whole system has to be cohesive. Like when you're booking partials, it has to match and align with where you're going, the same route, the same direction. Look at the delivery times, how much deadhead. So there's a lot that goes into it, especially when you start adding trucks, right? Once you start getting to 3, 5, 6 trucks, and you're trying to do the same thing for all of them. So, as a owner, like if you did want to cut expenses and you don't have a full time job, it's something to do. But it might just be a little tricky because your attention has to be on the dispatching because there's a lot of things that come up that you're not going to plan for. Loads get canceled, drivers pick up and get loaded with incorrect freight all the time. So before your driver leaves, if you don't verify what they picked up, you don't know how many pallets they got, you don't know what the BOL looks like, and that driver takes off, that's just a whole disaster. But
Right.
then again, people think dispatching is just, oh, I just get on the phone and send a text and send an email and I'm done for the day. But there's a lot of planning behind it that happens.
Correct. Correct. I mean, we do dispatch our own truck, but it's definitely a teamwork effort. Once he gets in that truck and he's driving with a load, I got a factor. He's not factoring. I'm doing the one to factoring. I'm the one watching the emails. If I see
Hmm.
something pop up, then hey, da 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 da. So it's like we kind of bounce things off of each other, and he's looking at the lows. He may ask me, and then I'll start punching it in and make sure it's aligned with our cents per mile to make sure we're not losing money. So we kind of like bounce it off of each other. I think the one part we're kind of struggling with is because once he's in that truck and he's driving, I work full time. It's hard for me to like. I'm not good at maps. That is not my strong suit.
Hmm.
But trying to find that partial, that's where I could see a dispatch would benefit us to use our
Yeah.
truck at our full capacity. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Back to the
Yeah.
factoring. Let me ask you guys, have you guys ever hauled a load and realized after you submit it to your factoring company that they don't factor? Has that ever happened to you?
I've only had that happen once when somebody was leasing onto our authority, and once they did it, we was like we had to wait. Well, they had to wait 90 days. I mean, not 90, 30 days to get paid.
Mm.
Hmm.
So collection was my other title, and I was on them. Soon as 30 days hit, I'm like, hey, where's our money? Yeah,
Hmm.
and then they took forever to pay. Baby, I start escalating it all the way to the president of the company, and we got
Hmm.
paid. But for us, we
Yeah, that was
check,
fun for
and I
him.
have like favorites. Yeah, you said that was fun for me. I wasn't playing. You gonna pay us, and I was like, yeah, you gonna pay us, and yeah, we got it. But we've never, us personally, we never had that happen. We did have one broker who was perfectly fine, and then I saw that their score downgraded. So we don't even book with them
Hmm.
at all no more.
Good.
Yeah,
So, I asked because similar situation, I had a carrier, same thing leased on. He holds a load for Yellow Diamond Logistics. Have you guys heard of them?
that's the
Hmm.
one. That's the one whose score went down. Yep,
Because
yep.
we used to run
Their
for them,
score
right?
downgraded. Yeah, we used to run for them, and we saw that
Yeah.
their score downgraded. I was
Not
like,
no
oh,
more.
no, we can't use them.
Don't use
Yeah,
them. Do not use them anymore.
That's
I'm
crazy.
going through it right now. I'm like I just called their insurance today to follow up because I had to submit a claim. I had to file a claim
really.
against them. Yep.
And they make you jump through hoops and loops to
But
go print it, go send a picture. I'm like,
Yep.
good Lord. And y'all can't pay
Yep.
y'all bills.
Yep.
I hate is
It's
it's so
Really?
crazy.
easy for brokers to if you don't pay attention as a driver, owner, operator, it's so many ways to take money and you'll not see money that's being taken from you. Ask those drivers what's
Hmm.
that ego freight? Them guys wasn't looking at that paperwork. They did it for too long.
Ego.
Yeah, ego
Yeah. Yeah, ego.
was
Yeah, they was
changing
though.
the rate
Listen to that.
confirmation.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
dispatchers were that was something that they would do. When that guy said he came home with a negative check, I can only
Yeah,
imagine how his wife was acting.
I
Boy,
heard
that
about that.
listen, woman, that breaks relationships up. You leave, you been gone 3 weeks, you come home broke, Owen? She ain't gonna understand. Where was that money? Where were you? What were you? And you
Mm,
gotta explain, you don't know. I delivered the load and it paid this, but nothing's man, stop. You might well sign them papers, baby. Sign them papers.
So,
wow.
Adrian, have you had a situation to where, because I know sometimes people get frustrated and they have a new authority, and the first people they want to blame is the dispatcher.
Yeah,
And do you
yeah.
have situations where they want to dispatch themselves and then they're like, well, I want to take this load, but they don't understand deadhead. They don't understand their cents per mile. Do you let them
Hmm.
go ahead and do it, or do you fight? Like, have you ever had a
Hmm.
situation like that?
Yeah. Very recently, I very recently actually. Um, I'm I'm just laughing because I live through this every day. Um, the drivers have no one else to take their frustration out besides the dispatch. Cause
Yeah.
that's also what we gotta remember too. And I get it. Because I know how it is on the road. It is stressful. So you're even though you have nothing to do with it, right? They're originally who they typically take their problems out. But I'm built for that. So that doesn't phase me. I get it. Um so what a lot of my drivers actually do, because they do have access to the DAP board, they'll send me screenshots of loads they see, right? Which is great. I have no problem with that. I want to help you. And but I noticed that a lot of times they send me these, there's a problem with it. For example, you're sending me a box truck load, but it's posted that they want a team. You sending me a load you want, but they need 102 door clearance, but your box truck only clears 96. So you get what I'm saying? There's little things with dispatching. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna pick up my phone and get a load. There's a lot of details. You want this load, but it's gonna deliver the next day at 5 a.m., but you have no time on your ELD. But that's what dispatchers are thinking of. The drivers just want, you know what I'm saying? They just want to move. They want to get the highest paying load. So I have a lot of people that do that. And I would say 9 out of 10 times when they send me that screenshot, there's a reason it can't be booked. They don't
Yeah.
factor with us. How about that?
I
Like,
feel. But see,
It's
but
all in the notes.
but also I know tell me about the orientation where you gotta say, listen, I'm just your dispatcher. That's it. I'm sure you got stories. So that's what I want to
you
hear.
know,
The lonely cause.
pe- people people get mad at me that they pay $3,000 for insurance. People get mad at me for this.
Mm.
That has nothing to do with me. That you need to go back and get a new quote. That I can't control how much you pay for insurance. I can't control your truck payment and I can't control diesel. What I can do is look for the highest paying load going in a direction where you'll be able to get out of, right? Not sending
Hmm.
you to a dead zone. But yeah, I got a lot of people that blame me for stuff that has nothing to do
She
with
didn't
me.
understand Telly what I
I
was
I
saying.
just eat it up though.
Do you generally know all of the people dispatch their cents per mile for each truck? Do they know like their cents per mile, or do you use that or anything like
Do you,
that?
do we use do we book it based on the rate we're getting per mile?
Well, for the truck, like for us, we like I'm getting better to make sure I include the deadhead, the load miles, and what is our cents per mile. Then I'm like kind of okay, this is what we need to make. We cannot go
Right.
under this number. Like for each truck you dispatch, do you know the cents per mile for every truck or anything like that? Are they
Yeah.
aware of their cents per mile?
Yeah, so I actually have one really, really good driver. Like he knows he came to me. He told me he's like, Adrian, I need to make this amount per mile. Like he told me straight up, which is good because people know. But it gets a little bit unrealistic sometimes because we have to remember that we're operating a box truck. I know this gentleman here, you ran reefers, you ran flatbeds. Those are higher paying loads. So
Hmm.
we can't run a box truck thinking we're gonna get paid like a flatbed.
Right.
So sometimes I gotta reel them back into reality. Like we need a fight, right? We need a fight for the best rate, but we got to keep in mind what equipment we have that we're working with.
But see, that's
Um,
Exactly.
but yeah,
unnecessary drama.
typically,
I
hmm
feel. You know what I'm saying? Because
you
it's
said it's
common
what?
sense. I feel like that's unnecessary drama. I've been driving 20 years. If I go to a box truck, I'm just assuming that it's not going to pay the same because less room. You know, 12 pallets for the box truck, 24 for 53. That's why I hate when drivers are
Hmm.
emotional. Okay, you know you seasoned. You shouldn't be out here emotional. You know what I mean? You gotta know some weekends you might get stuck. I might not be able to find the load. We might not, you might have to stay there tonight. Don't call me, so I'm not gonna get a load.
Hmm.
No, you're not. I need you to sit down and be quiet and go to sleep. I'll call you tomorrow. But I'm sorry, I got emotion.
I that rarely happens where I like have to leave drivers, but I hate doing that. I hate losing a day. I really do. But you're
Yeah.
right. Sometimes it just happens. You just gotta wait it out.
Mhm.
So when somebody comes to you and say like, "What's the average a box truck can make?"
Hmm.
Do you give them like an average, or do you say? I mean, for me, when somebody asks me, I'm like, it's many factors. It depends
Hmm.
on the age of your authority. Number one, like
True.
that is like, and how you want to run. Because when you tell me you just want to stay in one state,
Hmm.
I'm like, that's going to be hard. If you want to stay in one state, your
I want to
authority
be
is
Yes.
home
new.
every night
What do
and make
you
three
think you're
thousand
going
a
to
week.
make? You want to be home every night.
Yeah. I don't know what that is where people have
Emotional
that this false I that's true. True.
Y-
women.
Yeah.
That's not real. That is not real.
No,
S-
it's not. I mean, I talk to people all the time, and I just be like, we had an idea of we were going to do the triangle, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana. That was what we had planned on doing, but we learned real quick we got to get to the Midwest.
Yep.
It's just not You're just not going to make money just staying in one state.
That
You're going to
yep.
have to get out your comfort zone, work those lanes, build those relationships until somebody gives you something dedicated. And it's going to
Yep.
be hard with one truck.
Hmm.
I'm not ready to scale to a second truck because we have a hard time finding dependable drivers.
That too. But back to what you were saying, like as far as giving them an average, my average for box trucks is like 5K a week. So I do it based on a weekly average because with me, a lot of dispatchers, like especially the ones overseas, they just focus on booking that truck and moving on because those guys are working with like 20 different people. So they're just trying to book whatever and
Mm-hmm.
send you on your way. Um Obviously it's more of a personalized approach like with my guys cuz we're smaller. So I'm able to book partials. I'm able to stay online longer and be like, "Okay, he picked up we got him a load with 8 pallets, but I know I could add another four, so I'm gonna work on this a little longer today." So that's typically why I'm able to say 5K because I book partials. um Everyone is different. I know a lot of dispatchers, they just book that full truckload and they don't talk to you until you get to delivery, to be honest.
Right.
Have you guys ever worked with the overseas dispatcher?
In the beginning.
I think Adam, for some reason, I think Adam, our old dispatcher, was overseas.
Yeah, that
Sharif.
Okay,
actually
how
was.
was
I don't
that
think he was.
experience?
I
Well,
mean,
he
because
had a new
Sharif was
authority.
checking him.
Nah, but
Yeah, we
and
had
then
a
we
new
had that new
authority.
authority too. So it's like I was sitting up. I was in Planet Fitness working out. Every
Yeah,
day.
and then we did get a his old dispatcher. She came on,
But she
and
she was more used to
when
18 wheelers. So
mm-hmm,
and we went a good 3 years to working together on 18 wheelers. So we had good chemistry with the 18 wheelers, but the box
box
truck's
truck was a
totally
different
different.
ball game.
Yeah, different.
Mm-hmm.
When I booked my first load with her, that was when we was like, well, no, we gonna do this ourselves.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
And when I figured out how to, when I messaged her, I was like, hey, I found this load. Oh, well, I'm off. Oh, okay. And you have an off time, but when I got off of work, I started searching on the load board. And when
Yeah.
I found a load and I figured out how to factor, I was like, once we get, I think the one part for us is the partialing. I think that's
Yeah.
where we're kind of, because I work full time and he's not going to be able to do it while he's driving.
Exactly.
That would be where I see we could benefit from it. But
Hmm.
we were just talking about that. That's longer routes, more gas. So I'm like,
Hmm.
does it even
You
out?
gotta you gotta balance it. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
These
we were
gas
just talking
prices, I
about that
think.
this morning. I said it would have to be a longer run so we can plan partials. So,
Yeah.
that's
Hmm.
where it's
That
at. You know
fuel
what I
bill
mean?
is not nice right now. Yeah.
Because the best thing to do is wherever you're going, right? That first the original load, wherever it goes, you want to make sure that the partial falls in the same exact order to
Yeah.
avoid the deadhead in the gas.
Exactly. And that's where I don't have the time cuz I
It,
work.
it,
I don't have the
yeah.
time. He could tell me the route and I'm like, I'm at work. I can't
Yeah.
look. I can't. And then I'll be like calling him like, do you think, and I'm nervous. I do not want to book a load without him saying yay. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
no, it's not my
Yeah.
expertise. That's where I could
Hmm.
see we could benefit from having a dispatcher.
Hmm.
But I don't need a dispatcher to factor because I want to watch my money.
Exactly.
That's where
Yeah.
I'd rather do it myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny because what was I about to say? You just said it.
They said she didn't want to book anything without my blessing. She don't
No,
want
I
to
don't.
book anything. But reason why is because she'll find a good load, but it'll go to Idaho or Wyoming, and I'll be like,
Ooh.
okay, that's a
Ooh.
good one, but we gonna eat up that profit trying to get out of there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that'll be the only thing. You know what I mean? It'll be a good load, and we both on that page, but it just I know where it's dead. I know Kansas,
Yeah.
Louisiana, anywhere in Louisiana. You smell that state line, no freight. You know what I mean? It's nothing coming out of there. You know. So
And I've
out.
already experienced that where I booked the load there and we had to deadhead back to Houston. I was like,
Yeah.
oh God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing.
And
Yeah.
Oklahoma too. Oklahoma
Oklahoma,
is a little
nothing,
rough.
Yeah.
nothing. Every
Nothing.
now and then, like, and
Yeah.
what we started to do, and then I just had a bad. I was tired that week, and it just messed us up with Amazon. When I had those two runs where I was asleep, she called me. We was messing up with military time.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking 2 o'clock. I'm thinking 2 p.m. I'm over here, and she over there. Hey, I'm like, what? Why? It's 2 p.m. It's 2 a.m. I'm like, oh God.
Oh
I got
no.
up. I was when I say sleepy, I feel like back in the day when you you got home from the club at 4, but you had to clock in at 5:30. Oh man.
Yes.
It was strange because I was like, why is he up all day? He need to be asleep. And I stayed up. I said, I'm gonna stay up because I have a feeling he has got this time zone mixed up. And when I called, I was like, hey, you sleep? Yeah, I'm sleep. He talking to me like, why you asking me? Yes, I'm
Sleeping
sleep.
damn good. Sleeping good. Me and Tyler
Oh.
Berry about to
Took
get
his
married,
Advil
and you done
PM
messed
and
that up.
everything.
Mhm. Messed all that
So
up.
as a driver, Sharif, so as a driver, do you definitely prefer the dispatcher to send you the load that's available before they actually book it?
Well, No,
No.
just like a good hairstylist. Pretty soon, I just gonna sit in the chair. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's how it is. I'm just gonna sit down and let your creativity send me. You know, I don't want to go to New York. You know what I'm saying? Don't send me to Miami. You know what I'm saying? So you'll know certain things. So I just be like, okay, let's roll. And then, especially when things going
Mhm.
good, no, I don't. You know what I'm saying? But I know it wasn't that Telly wasn't good. Telly good with numbers. Like she
Yeah.
can calculate, make a spreadsheet that'll confuse the hell out of me. I don't know what that is. You know what I'm saying? But I know dead zones, and she would book something, or she only did it once or twice. You know what I mean? But it's like
Learn
that
my lesson
now.
quick.
It's like that
Yeah.
now, but only because her and I are both learning. I still call her
Yes.
sometimes if I see something. I'm like, oh, that look good. Let me call her because I show the way I've been running my mouth. If I book something wrong, Lord, I wouldn't hear the end of it. You know what I'm saying?
But
I call.
I be like gambling with Florida because I mean sometimes the money just be so good going in, you
Yeah.
gotta like
And
gamble. Yeah.
yeah, but coming out is just so draining. It's so
Yeah,
draining.
you got to go ahead and take a raping coming out of there. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You got
it's
it.
rough. Florida is
Yeah, it
Um,
is. We done had the deadhead a couple of times up out of there. Amazon wasn't jumping nothing. We were just like, all right, we just
But
gonna go
until I
ahead, go to
messed it
Georgia.
up, we had a nice little strategy. We would get Amazon. I would book two Amazon runs from Miami to Port something, Georgia, right there at the border with Jacksonville. I get
Yeah,
that, then book another Amazon run to get me to Atlanta. We did it twice. Wonderful. Now
mm,
it didn't pay the greatest, but it wouldn't. We at least paid for the gas to get out of there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
mm,
yeah.
right.
and I
We
bought
our
some bubble
Amazon
gum with the
score is
change.
garbage right now, so we don't even look at Amazon.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Amazon is just, and when I hear people say, "Oh, I'm just going to do Amazon," I'm like, "You're not going to be able to make no money doing just
Yeah.
Amazon local, and you renting a
Yeah.
truck. You
And that's
you
box
must
trucks though. But
be,
18 wheelers, 18 wheelers, you
yeah,
can make some money 18 wheelers. The box truck game is terrible. When I was in that
yeah,
warehouse, I would look at those guys and I see
For
the same thing. I'm like,
Amazon.
what are y'all doing? How are they paying you with these rates? You can't pay a driver
Mm,
with these rates. You might as well give them the money, because
the
ain't
money
nobody.
that they pay you for one way, it needs to be double that amount because it's nothing coming back. Whatever is two
right.
dollars and 38, it need to be $5.76 per
Mm,
mile,
yeah.
in my opinion, to make it worth it for somebody to be local because you got nothing coming
Mm,
back. Nothing. And I
damn.
even heard the contracts are garbage.
And
I haven't even
Adrian,
looked at Amazon load board in years.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
tell your
it ain't worth it.
drivers to get Planet Fitness membership. That way they can go home, they can stay in shape,
Hmm.
and they can keep a nice little scent about them while they out here working. There's no excuse.
Take a nice shower.
You better.
See some people, see
Well,
some
yeah.
people,
Keep the
women,
morale
they
up.
might
Keep the
get home.
morale up.
Shut up.
Hey, that's
Oh
important.
boy.
That's important.
So when you lost everything, how did you get it all back? I know
Oh
you
my
said you
God.
lost everything and
Yeah, that was that season when I lost that 20K. So I didn't even have a car. The truck that I was renting, I just went OTR and I lived in that truck for about 3 months, which
Amen,
was the
mhm.
Tiffany.
3 months I lost everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
God bless you.
So yeah, I mean, I tried my best, try to drive, didn't do too well. When I came off the truck, I didn't have an apartment, I didn't have a car, I didn't know what I was gonna do for work. Um, So I had nothing. Like I was basically just starting completely from scratch. And then that's when I got the job offer from TQL. And that's how I ended up in Cincinnati. And then fast forward, I learned like behind the scenes of how the brokerage actually worked in real life. And I just didn't want to be on that side.
Gotcha.
I saw the money, I saw the numbers. It's real. Like they do make money, but I wanted my freedom. I wanted to control things my way, and I wanted to be transparent with carriers. So everything that I learned there, I just apply it, when I'm dealing with the brokers on the phone. There's a lot of sneaky stuff that they do.
You said it.
Mm-hmm.
You said
It's
it.
so sneaky,
You can
but
hear
it's
it in
so
their
subtle
voice.
though. hmm Yeah, like, oh yeah, go run this for us. We're gonna pay you $2.50 per miles, but it has 5 drops with driver
Yeah.
Mm.
assist.
Or they don't tell
Yeah.
you that
Like,
until after the after you done said yes with the price. Okay, no problem. So there's 3 stops. I'm like, oh, whoa, oh, and they really,
yup,
I done caught on already. I done caught on.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you
Yeah.
it's 5 stops.
And I've seen that like last week we kept seeing 2, 3 stops, six hundred
yeah.
dollars. I'm like $600 with these fuel prices. I don't care
Mhm,
if it's like so many miles. You need driver assist and then these extra stops and then these fuel prices. That need to be close to
mhm.
$1,000. I'm sorry.
And they don't want to pay.
They don't want to
It's
pay.
I so I don't know if it's that their customer, right? The shipper is not willing to pay more, or the brokers are still pocketing it. Because at this point, the shippers have to pay more to move their freight. So there's a disconnect because there's no way that they're paying rates that they were prior. So that means the broker is still not willing to give up more.
Well, they're
But
getting
someone
people
told
who
me,
going to go cheaper.
but did you guys hear about some type of law where we can actually now be told by the broker the amount they're receiving?
They're saying that broker
Oh,
transparency, but what I'm hearing now is like some of those brokers retaliate and put that freight guard on you as well too. So you are supposed to be able to ask them that. In my opinion, the law need to be changed so all paperwork automatically shows it. Like it should
you.
be on there. Like when
Thank
you
you.
it
On the
shouldn't even
load
be you
board.
have to ask. It should be on the rate sheet. When you get
Yeah.
ready to sign it, you should be able to see everything. And that's
Mhm.
what to me is not a full transparency because you don't know.
So you guys are
Mhm.
And
talking about
I actually go ahead.
you guys talking about the full budget of the load, like
Yeah.
what the broker has to move this freight. Make all that
Yes.
transparent.
Mhm.
Okay, gotcha.
So if they show every breakdown, this is the amount of this load, this is the amount the broker fee, this is the
Mhm.
amount y'all making, boom. I mean, it needs to show the full breakdown. That should be standard on every rate con, if you ask me. But
Mhm.
because you're supposed to be able to ask, and I've seen where people said they've asked, and yeah, they got retaliation or get be on the do not use list and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And then on that 60 minutes where that guy said, "Hey, I picked up the load," the shipper told me that the load was $1,500, but when I get the rate com, it's only $300.
Mhm. They do that
So, these are
wicked.
the things that make the carrier and broker relationship very hard because we don't know what the shipper is paying. We don't know. We're going off of what you're telling us. And then with all of these things that's going on, you're taking the person who's going to give you the lowest uh bid or whatever, taking the lowest amount, but are you getting the quality of work? If you
Right.
see TLA Group is giving you quality work, if we're asking you for what we need to be operational, give it to us. Because right
Yeah.
now, it's hard for carriers. Every time, Adrian, I build us up a little cushion for maintenance, it's gone. If you
Uh-huh.
only knew what we paid last week, 3,000 for the radiator,
Still taking
450 for
counseling
hoses,
for the.
another $22,000 for regen issues. We went through this in April. In April, and every month I tell him this is what we made last month, so he knows. Okay, our goal is to go a little higher. April is busted.
Oh yeah.
April's busted.
It's busted, and I had to when he got ready to leave. I said, take the truck to the shop because I don't want you to get on another load and them lights come on, and then we got to get towed with the freight,
Yeah.
and just take it. And that was
Yeah.
another $2,000.
And this is a box truck?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
That that Regina
yeah,
system.
that death system.
It's a yeah it's a owner operator killer because the actual price to fix it was 19,000. to fix it.
Yeah, to fix everything.
To fix
It
everything
was
was
like it was
19,000.
like over 20,000 when they did the diagnostics.
Yeah, and
It's
that
over
now what he
$20,000.
said is as they go through. So we really didn't know they was troubleshooting. Okay, we fixed this. Okay, but this, blah blah blah. And then we learned something also. I hope somebody needs to hear this. That when you take your truck inside for regen problems, the mechanic is gonna fix the symptom. Kind of like what the medical field does. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I got this pill that'll cure it, but you ain't gonna be able to come back if I give you that. So I'm gonna give you this so you can live with the symptoms. That's what they do. Okay, your death is what's the name? So we're gonna charge you 3,000 to blow that death out, but they know that something is making that death. So you know, if you're not living in California, I'm gonna wink my eye.
Cali.
You know what I'm saying? And drivers know,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
not worth.
We paid $3,000 to replace the diesel filter for it to turn around and the same error came right back up.
You
We
just
That
get
ain't
start
three
right.
thousand
feeling.
dollars in February. And everybody was like, you need to just do. And I was like, trust, we know.
Yes, indeed.
That ain't right.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
So
And,
anybody who deals with those regen,
and this is what I
you
want
ain't
to
heard it
tell.
from me.
This is what I want to tell. Not to get back to the dispatcher. What I tell anybody, especially drivers, you work for me, I need you to have a good attitude. It's gonna be times where a broker gonna get on your nerves. They're gonna track you and then call you like they're not tracking you. You need to answer that phone because I've learned quick. You answer that phone with a good spirit, get your Caucasian on, hey, good morning. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did pick up. Yes, the tracking shows. Okay. Good evening. Boom. Next thing you know, and then it's worse in the box truck industry. They love us. Why? Because I answer that phone. I'm always hello, like it's a Price is Right or something. I make sure I'm in good upbeat. You know what I'm saying? And they love that. That's why I smile in that camera when I post to every one of them. Let them know, hey, I'm not dangerous. I know I got locks, but hey, I can smile. Give us your load, please.
Mm-mm. Yeah, brokers have you tracked, but then they'll call you and say where are you at while you're tracking.
What's your
Exactly.
ETA?
So it's gonna make you want to say
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
really, and you're gonna go off. But you gotta be able. You might as well just finish it and get the conversation over with. Just say, okay,
Hmm.
Yeah.
yes,
We
answer the
had a
phone.
broker on here a few weeks ago and he was saying like, whoever drives your truck, they're your brand, right? So if you hired a wrong driver who go in there cussing people out, you're going to get on that do not use list. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So it's
Mm.
like very important for, I think some of these young kids are looking at different social media influencers and they want to get in the truck, but they got to have that customer service side as well too.
Yeah.
They got to be able to understand they're going to call you, they're going to bug you. You can't cuss them out. Even when they piss you off, you can't cuss them out.
Mhm.
it's
Don't
just
cuss.
it's just not
It's like cussing
good
at the
customer
chef
service.
before your food comes. You know what I mean? You wondering why
Yeah.
you can't get a load anymore because it'd be the small stuff. When you deliver, you had attitude because they was taking too long, and they talked to the broker after they unloaded you. Because they
Mm.
didn't like you. You know, you didn't
Yeah.
bathe the night before, and you
Yeah.
you left their warehouse smelling. They don't want you to come back.
I mess with you.
Well,
I put a
I
little
actually
baccarat up on them, a little bit before I go in. You know,
I actually have a real story of someone that used to lease on to us. It was like 2 years ago. Um, Kid is from Philly. We send him to go pick up, right? He goes, he gets loaded, everything is fine. Come to find out, we get a call and they're saying, hey, is there a reason your driver stole headphones from the shipper? And then the first thing is, he's on our side, so we're just trying to calm the situation. Like there's probably a misunderstanding. It might have been a different truck that you're confusing us with. They got this guy on camera taking the headphones and putting it in his bag while he's waiting to get loaded.
Brought his bag in
So
and
he's,
everything. You don't bring a bag in
yeah.
the warehouse.
So he
You
stole the
come naked.
kid's headphones. And now that broker situation happened with, we can't work with them anymore because of that.
Really?
Hmm.
Wow.
What's the confrontation?
It was all through the phone. So we got a phone call from the broker saying, "Hey, we have this on video footage of your driver taking the headphones, which he had no business doing,
Right.
and stealing them." So that was the last time he worked with us, and then that was the last time we were even able to work with the broker.
Well, I want to hear the
Gotcha.
lie, he said. I would have been real
We
cute
never
with,
got to speak to him.
You never
oh,
spoke to him?
We never got to speak to him.
what happened?
Really?
He just
No.
quit?
Wow.
He dropped off that load and then we never heard from him again. He didn't admit he'd take them, he didn't deny it, nothing. He just delivered and we never heard from him again,
That's some
which
good
means he stole the
headphones.
headphones.
Exactly.
That's some good
Gotcha.
headphones. Those some beats.
That's what I'm saying. It must have been some real good ones to go through all that.
Yeah, that's some
He
beats,
But
stole
we
baby.
them.
got like 5 minutes left, Adrian, and I
Okay.
do want to tell you I will be launching a platform, so hopefully you'll join it,
Yes,
where
ma'am.
it is going to be U.S. based only, which you have to go through a verification process. So for phase one, it will be U.S. based dispatchers, drivers, and carriers, where you could create a profile. You could connect with, say, if we're looking for a dispatcher, we could look you up and read all about you. We'll be able to rate you. It's going to have like a form where you could post questions. If a carrier is hiring drivers, they can actually put like the job on there. It will eventually go to like resources where I'll have like different training guides. And then I want to also have like webinars and stuff like that. Like I'm doing it in phases. So phase two will be where I invite brokers and shippers, but phase one right now is just us joining a platform, making sure everybody's verified. Right now, I'm working on getting everything finalized, so hopefully it'll be ready in like the next couple of weeks. But I saw a problem in the industry, and I a lot of people are using like Facebook to look for drivers. They're going to
Yeah.
social media to get information. And I know with
Yeah.
us, I felt like I did all the research possible.
Mhm.
And still, I felt like the information that I got was outdated.
Yep.
And that's where I think we heard, we had a whole plan. We was like, we got $20,000. We got a cushion, and that just was not it. So I want to make sure that people who come in this industry, they can look at Straight Connect and say, hey, they have training and resources. I know it's there. And I do want to partner up with different people who will be okay with hosting the training. That's where it gives you more visibility
Right.
to people could come to you and be like, oh, okay, I like Adrian. She knows what she's talking about. I want her to dispatch for me. So it's like us helping each other. But that's the goal of it. Just you be on
I
the
love
lookout.
that.
I got your email and you'll see when I say, please go join.
Yes.
So just join it. And I thank you for joining our call.
Thank you,
You'll see
Adrian.
your
Yeah.
videos popping up on Instagram daily. And
Okay.
feel free to share them or whatever. And I think I sent you the links for people to go back and listen to it. So this is
Okay.
very
I
helpful.
am I really would love this. This is a perfect timing because like you mentioned the Facebook, I try to connect and meet people, but that's just that platform is not that it's not for that. So if Straight Connect is coming out soon, I would be on board
Yeah, it's
for
coming out
sure.
soon. I thought we were ready, like, because I did a demo Friday. So then the
Hmm.
people who are on the demo, I'm like, go ahead and join. We're ready. And then an error popped up talking about you ran out of usage. I was like, what? So I have
Uh,
to go back and pay for a volume for the verification. But then I had to go upload all my articles of incorporation, my EIN. So I got to go through all that check. And I was like, why didn't y'all tell me this a month ago?
And
So right
Kelly,
now,
you
we're going to do everything in one swoop. Go ahead.
you forgot about, and Kelly is the other idea after it gets launched. We're gonna try to start a training class for just box trucks, where I'll be training new drivers
yes.
about etiquette,
Yep.
pallet jacking, and lift gating. So, she's pushing me to do
Hmm.
that, and that's a good idea. So we're gonna do that after everything gets
Yeah.
launched.
Yep.
I
a-
love that.
Yep. So be on the lookout for it. And like I said, don't be alarmed. You see your face pop up on my Instagram because that's how I do. I start posting y'all all
Yeah.
up over there.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Well, thank you for joining. We appreciate it. Anytime you want to come back, just let me know. We're always open to have repeat guests.
All right. Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All
Take
right.
care.
Take care.
Okay. Bye bye.